Okay. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to Redevelopment Commission for March 11th, 2026. We'll ask Assistant City Manager, if you would, to give us a roll call, please. I'm sorry, give us a roll call. Thank you.
Commissioner Dove.
Present.
Commissioner Dillahunt. Commissioner Proctor.
Here.
Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Strickland.
Here.
Commissioner Simmons.
Present.
Commissioner Stewart. Chair Parham.
Here.
Co-Chair Wallace. Chair, you have a forum.
Okay, thank you. And just for the board and other members, want to continue to keep our board member Tabar Wallace up in prayer. He's still recovering from some surgery he had last week. He says he's getting better, but he's not walking yet. But he's doing okay. The surgery went well. Mission statement and guidelines. The New Bern Redevelopment Commission leading the way for community transformation and improvement by directly addressing community needs in the vital areas of public health, infrastructure, housing, and economic development. The Commission is committed to an accountable, transparent, and publicity-driven process. We'll start with you, Mr.
Past, present, future, equal time.
Respect others' opinions.
Listen to build consensus.
Share accurate information, public perception.
Stay focused, be action oriented.
Believe. Thank you. Item 4, consider approving the agenda for tonight. If there's anything that need to be removed, we'll ask for a motion except for one item. Item 7 is being pulled. Okay. Item 7 is being pulled. Okay. So do we have a motion to accept the remaining agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and probably second to go forward with the agenda that's proposed, excluding item 7.
Chair,
Yeah.
intersect. Under new business, under the work groups, we were asked to also pull the housing section due to the chair and also the other person will not be present for that.
Okay. So actually, housing and neighborhood, those two items will be pulled for tonight also.
And neighborhood.
Yes, neighborhood.
So, Mr. Strickland, is that your motion?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. All right. New business. I'm sorry. Public comment. Anyone here for public comment? I'm sorry. I need to approve my minutes from the last meeting. Consider approving minutes for February 11, 2026. Hopefully everyone had the chance to review those. Are there any corrections? If not, anyone have a motion to accept the minutes from February 11th?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and probably second that we consider approving the minutes for February 11, 2026. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. All right, item 6, public comment. Yes. Ms. Adams? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this time. I just have 2 concerns or whatever to bring before you today. The first is last time you guys had discussed the gentleman who wanted to purchase 1213 putting a parking lot there. And as a future resident of 1214, which is right across the street from that property that he wishes to buy with the intent to put a parking lot, I just want to publicly oppose that for 2 reasons. One, people that are in the neighborhood already at the moment have a tendency to loiter. They already hang around in that parking lot from time to time as it is. And I just feel like a parking lot is going to rather increase the temptation to loiter around there. And as a future resident, I'd rather not have that. So I just wanted to publicly oppose the parking lot going there for that reason. Number two reason for opposing is it just seems to be a misfit to you all's purpose and mission to have a parking lot there. So I would like to see this body adhere more to the reasons why you guys were put in place. And that goes into my second concern. You guys last week also talked about putting together some stipulations or creating some stipulations to go along with the sale of these lots. And I just want to, I hope that you guys aren't going to deviate from your original intents that you guys have on the website and other places. So I just want to encourage this body to, if you're going to put stipulations in place, that they continue to maintain your purpose. And I hope that you guys would also be willing to consider having a bidder's intentions for the property maybe come before you before they place a bid. Yeah, I don't know if that can happen, but I'm just.
But when you say come before us before they make a bid,
Yes.
most of the times, I think in the past, help me if you can remember, if someone comes to here and wants to put a bid on a piece of property, most of the time they come to us and show us what they want to put on that property. So we get to see what they want to put on there. And then of course, once it gets to that point, then once they come here, then they have statutes and everything that's responsible that goes with that piece of property.
So you're saying that
they see everything and what's required before they say, I want to go ahead and buy it.
So you're saying they meet with you guys before they go to the city clerk and place a bid?
Yes, because they come here and show us the plans that they want to do, and we agree that, hey, it fits what we got, and then once they do that, they go to city clerk. Am I correct?
No, they actually come and place a bid and put a bid down for the property, and then it comes to the board for you all to consider whether or not you want to sell it for whatever purpose that they give you all. And once you all agree upon selling that property,
then the process starts.
That's when the upset bid
Okay.
is.
That's what it's, yeah. We do get to see it before the upset bid starts, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we had,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say a couple meetings ago, it was February 11th, we had the kind of updated protocols for purchasing property. I know, Marvin, you've worked on this, or your office worked on that, just to make sure, because the things were getting confused with the clerk, where we always put the restrictions on our properties, and I guess there was a couple times where folks didn't know that through the clerk, so we actually had looked at new protocols to make sure they know of the restrictions and make sure the process sort of goes in that order. But in all events, we want to be able to see, like before we'll say yes, we want to be able to see what they're doing with the property, planning to do with the property.
And we'll share some more information when we get to work groups, property sales, for a meeting we had with our attorneys also. So you have one. Okay. Anyone else on the public comment? Yes.
I'm just here kind of as an observer, but I've been in contact with Sergio Arenas. I really was going to let him know what the outcome tonight was of the possibility of buying his property back on 821 West Street.
That's on the new business, which will be coming up shortly.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Like I said, no one else. Item 7 was removed, and now we're down to item number 8, new business, 821 West Street.
Yes, Board, and Chair, with this, we've had a discussion on 821 West Street, and because of some of the misunderstandings with some of the paperwork that was delivered to the particular person, the purchaser, we had, it was recommended by the attorney and also requested by the buyer to rescind his purchase and let the Redevelopment Commission buy back that piece of property. Since this process has occurred, there has been some updates to some of the paperwork so that this is avoided in the future. Typically, the process is not done long distance, and I think part of the long distance processing and everything is where some of the paperwork got lost in translation. So it was just a miscommunication somewhere along the lines, and the easiest process, according to the attorney, was to just go ahead and buy it back and put it back on the sellers lot, the sellers lots.
Are you needing a motion from us to proceed with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
So wasn't somebody else involved in wanting this property? What's the whole scoop of this property? A church wants it, right?
Yeah, he wants to sell it, and the church wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, with the stipulations that's on it,
So if it came back to us and the church wanted to buy it, they would have to stick to the stipulations.
now, right, with stipulations.
Right.
But if you give me a minute and let us take care of this, then in our next part, we'll give you some information on a meeting that Sarah and Strickland and myself had with the lawyers. And we might be able to clarify some of this as
I
we
thought
move
we were
forward.
about to vote.
Huh?
I thought somebody was about to make a motion to vote or something. I'm
Right,
sorry.
right. For us to give him his money back, we get the property.
That's why I want to ask questions before we get to that
Oh,
vote,
okay.
though. That's what I'm saying. Because was he trying to sell the property to the church?
Yes, sir. What happened was, what brought this to light was there was another interested purchaser for the property that wanted to purchase the property, and he indicated that he would sell it to that individual. When it was explained to him that if he chose to do that, the stipulations of the requirements of building a structure on that property with the same time frames would go along with that purchase, which is not the intent of the other purchaser. So basically what's happened is if he wants to sell it back, we'll just get it back, and then it will go back on the seller's properties list. And if a new buyer want to come forward, they will go through the same process that he's gone through to get whatever approval that you all are.
Right.
How much did we pay for the property?
What was his price?
I believe. $6,000. Some of that got it here.
6,375 and no $100.
That's correct.
Okay. Commissioner Dove got no?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay, you thinking, okay.
But that was the desire of what's his name, Mr. Ramos?
Yeah.
That's his desire to sell it back to us, not to the church.
Correct.
Okay.
Because the way it is, the church don't want to buy it and be forced to put a house on it.
So the church no longer wants it because of the stipulations of the redevelopment.
That's right now, but once we take care of this, I'll show you some other information. Okay? Yeah. So,
Mr. Chair.
yes.
Mr. Williams, just to confirm, this is basically the same scenario that we walked into at the retreat, where there was a misunderstanding of sorts of what the rules of the transaction were and the stipulations attached to it.
The outcome's the same, but for different reasons. The other property was purchased with the understanding of what the intended buyer was going to place on the property, and because of the setbacks, there was an issue with that.
Okay.
So that's why we purchased that back, because we couldn't utilize it as he had purchased it for.
Okay. So, but at its core, it's a misunderstanding of sorts that wasn't clarified.
It was a misunderstanding on someone's part, but
Yeah.
It could have gone either way, but in the sense of who was right and who was wrong, I mean, sometimes it's just basically when you look at all the facts and weigh them, you gotta figure our purpose is to make people happy to be in the community, and if something happens, then basically not due to anyone's particular intent to deceive someone. It was just both of those situations seemed to be better fit for us to go ahead and move forward and sell the lots to another buyer.
Okay, thank you for that.
Have a motion to proceed with the purchase back of 821 West Street?
And Mr. Chair, if someone is inclined to make a motion, that motion should include what the purchase price is.
Okay.
And the commission sold the property according to the offer to purchase that was previously executed for $63.75.
Okay. 6375. Okay. Is there a motion to be made for this? Nobody wants to. But if there's a motion, then it dies. So, where do your recommendation be there, attorney? No one wants to make a motion.
If no one wants to make a motion, you might consider what the status of the property is. So if this gentleman chooses not to build anything on this lot and he can't sell it to someone else who wants to build it and it sits dead, is that an outcome that you're comfortable with? You may want to think about what a plan may be for this parcel since it falls within your purview.
Yeah.
But there is.
Can I ask something? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, but there are stipulations in the agreement that also say it reverts back to us at a certain point if action does not move forward, is that correct?
I'm looking at the deed now, and yes, if construction is not commenced within 24 months, there is a reversion back to the commission unless there's a further agreement between you and whoever owns the property.
You got 2 years to do something.
Correct.
But that deed, after the contract note, did not have a block check with conditions, correct? Wasn't that the main problem with the contract?
I'm looking at it now.
Oh, that's the loophole, so to speak.
And it does not appear to me that there is an express warranty or provision in the contract that talks about the conditions, which is one of the issues that has been remedied with the revisions to the paperwork.
And the deed wasn't known to the buyer until after it was created, after the purchase.
I can't say what the purchaser knew or did not know as it relates to the deed, and I don't remember the details of this particular transaction. I know it has been this body's custom to have people make presentations in association with making an offer to purchase. I can't, certify in this moment without looking at the history whether this gentleman made such a presentation such that he might have been aware.
And that's the only reason I'm perplexed at the time, because if on behalf of us there was an error made or oversight and it says no stipulations, no conditions, and he wasn't aware of the conditions until after deed, which is what I kind of understood, after deed was made. If that was me, I would want to be able to do what I want to do with my property because of how it was sold to me. Now, at the end of the day, if the deed says that it reverts back to the board in 2 years if nothing, if construction hasn't began, but he didn't know that until after the fact, that's not his fault. But now you had a situation, if he sells it, then the next person has to follow the stipulations. But if his contract says no conditions, I would think, I'm just one voice, but I would think that for some reason this particular land, we chop it up as a loss, throw it aside and let it be, let them do what they want to do. Moving forward, we have everything ironclad and we stick to the protocols of this commission.
And Mr. Dove, you raised some very good points. One thing that I would add just for everybody's edification is a grantor has the ability to release conditions. So if the property were to come back to the Redevelopment Commission either by acquiring it or by using your powers of reversion, you could, in theory, release those covenants from the land.
And
That's just an idea. With
If-
all the
if we were to
properties
do
we
so-
own,
So let me just share this with you. Because we didn't have a motion to table, nothing happened. But let me see. Last week, the three of us met with both the lawyers for the city. We're in a process, and help me out here too, we're in the process of looking at, the requirements of buying properties. And in the discussion, we realized that there are some properties that may not be conducive to a house, or maybe so small that it goes to someone else's property. It could be attached to it. And so now we're trying to come up with, and help me out there, we're trying to write up something new to go in it, because we're coming up with some issues now that we never faced before. So now we're trying to make sure that we adapt our rules and regulations and statutes, everything, to where this board can say, okay, property A, it's not going to do for a house, so we're going to put it under this restriction. You can add to your property, you can do, that kind of thing. So that's what we're looking at now.
Yes, sir. So to expound on that point just a bit, you're at a place now in the commission where you've been in existence for several years, and the landscape of the redevelopment area has changed since you first were constituted.
Right.
So at this moment, one of the things that our office is doing and forecasted to the chair was working with staff to evaluate the current vacant land in the redevelopment area that you own, and those lots that are owned by other local governments, whether it's the city or the county, and assessing those lots in a couple of different categories. One category is lots that are suitable for residential development, out of the flood zone, or such that they can be elevated at something that looks reasonable, and lots with dimensions and sizes that are conducive to residential development, whether that's single family or some type of multifamily development. The next bucket is at the opposite end of the extremes, where you have lots that are either very small or in the floodplain or just not otherwise conducive to residential development. And then you have lots that are in between that can go kind of either way. Maybe they're conducive if they're put together with other lots, but standing alone, we might have to scratch our heads and think about what might be best for that in-between bucket. So as we're conducting that analysis, there may be lots that we know for sure need to be developed with residential construction.
Right.
And we can go ahead and create a policy where if you're interested in bidding on these lots, you know that they're going to come with this set of restrictions.
Yeah.
If you're going to bid on a lot that is in that second bucket that I described, where we know that it's not suitable for development, we may say no junk cars, you got to mow it, those types of nuisance abatement restrictions. You know exactly what you're signing up for. And then the ones in the middle, if we know that there's a good chance that a house can go there, you may say we're going to start with the presumption that we want somebody to build housing. But you can come to us and pitch us something different. So as we're going through that exercise, and that process is ongoing, it may be that if you buy back this lot, that lot will then become a part of this analysis.
Right.
Which one of the three buckets should this lot fall in? Should it be a residential construction lot, considering where we are today?
Right.
Should it be a not buildable, just mow it and keep it clean lot? Or is it something that we should think more critically about, but start with the presumption of housing?
Right. And with that lot, like I said, right now it's under put a house on it. And like the city attorney said, if we bought the property back, then once it falls under there, it's still part of redevelopment if the church want to buy it and then improve their property. Just a thought. Because the other thing we got to remember too, and I think came up in our conversation was, we're pushing to try to redevelop properties, and we're pushing to do affordable housing. But the big picture is we want people to whoever wants to build a house in the redeveloped area. So we can't just say affordable housing. It's just anyone that wants to build a nice house in those areas, because people just want to build. So we don't just want to say affordable, because some people might say, I don't know, but if we promote it like what you're doing with your program, with your committee, push that, and everyone see that, say, man, I want to buy a piece of property. I want to build a house for myself, and not rent it. Yeah, yeah. So we're back to, so if we're back to 821 West Street. After all the information, do you have a change of heart or change of mind, or what's your thoughts?
Chair, if you don't mind, this is probably a good opportunity for the gentleman to speak on behalf of the property owner.
Did you want to speak, or are you just here to get the results?
I'm here to get the results, but if I can speak.
Sir, you can come to the microphone.
Yeah, come to my.
So, my name is Steve Chuzo. I should have said in the beginning. I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker, Seacoast Advantage in town. I'm not representing Mr. Arenas. He called, told him I'd look into it. I told him there wasn't a whole lot I could do. I had a conversation, called, had a conversation with a few different people. I do think Mr. Dove is accurate. Some of the churches had reached out and expressed interest in selling it. And of course, Mr. Arenas would be more than happy to do that, but I believe you cannot do that under the stipulations of the contract.
Right now.
So, so his best case scenario for him is if the commission bought that property back, of course. Well, I understand from what he told me, he wasn't really aware, and the time frames he gave me and then the time frames and the covenants were different. So he didn't really have, from my conversations with him, a clear understanding of those time frames and those restrictions. He signed, I think, the original purchase contract in April, and then I saw some of the other stuff was signed in September. So I don't know, and I'm not an attorney or anything, and I told him that might be the route he needs to go, but after having a conversation with folks here, I thought maybe a more amicable outcome for him would be the outcome tonight. So.
Okay.
I think from what I heard, Mr. Dove, what you said is kind of what I gathered from him and from talking to some of the people that called from the churches about expressing an interest in it.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what the churches were planning on doing with it, and then what kind of structure, and then I didn't know the fact that the church and there's...
My understanding is the church wanted to improve their parking lot.
Yeah. Okay. That's about all I know.
Okay. All right.
I appreciate you letting me speak.
Thank you. Okay.
And Mr. Chair, just to add a little bit more to this, the original buyer indicated that he was not made aware of the restrictions based on the requirements for a redevelopment commission. He was, according to what he said, he was under the impression it was similar to what the city sell lots for, and he pointed to item number 12 on the offer to purchase, which reads other provisions and conditions. It says itemize all addendum to this contract and attach hereto, and that's under the conditions part, and it says none. So that's what he was indicating, that he did not realize in the offer to purchase that he was originally signed on indicated that there were no restrictions.
Okay.
Did he sign so the contract in here also doesn't seem to have it, and then it looks like he doesn't sign the quitclaim deed. Did he sign a document agreeing to it at all?
He did not sign anything about the restrictions. No, he did not. And I don't think he was present at the meeting when his house plan was presented, such that he heard himself. I think his agent presented on his behalf.
So he's saying those restrictions were mentioned at that meeting, he just didn't happen to be there?
Yes, sir. So the commission's custom at that time when they initiated the upset bid process was to adopt a resolution that actually set out what the restrictions would be. And then ultimately, the Board of Aldermen also has to approve the transaction, and that resolution is adopted by this board and then also goes to the Board of Aldermen. So there were documents that exist in the public about those restrictions. However, because he was at a distance, which is somewhat unusual for this body, he was not present to hear them in real time or to see that document in the agenda package as it goes onto the screen, which is customary during such presentations.
Okay.
And the only reason I have all these questions is because, I don't sit here so that my will be done. We all sit here so that the will of the community be done. And just like someone spoke earlier about sticking to the guidelines of this board, but yet if an error, and not I'll say error was made, which mistakes are made, we all make them. I just feel this property is different than the bulk load of properties that we have because of the error. You know, it just seems like this particular property would be different, and that I would like more discussion myself. I don't want to prolong it, but I don't want to vote on something when I still have questions.
So, all right. So here's. Let me throw this out there.
So I have a memo from Zeb that says he spoke to him, and it said, so this is at the meeting, it was presented last May. The subject property is within a floodplain. At the time, Mr. Arenas does not have floor plans to submit to the commission. However, he has affirmed his willingness to adhere to all deed restrictions and development covenants, including those that would require him to utilize the parcel exclusively for a single-family home, commence construction within 12 months, restriction of junk vehicles, and restriction on multiple outbuildings. So that's Zeb's like typing out his notes from a conversation, with the potential buyer, and that's the meeting we, I assume, said, okay, we'll upset the initiate bid. We'll initiate the upset bid process based on this.
Now, my other question is, if someone's going to buy a piece of property and they're going to put a house on it, the stipulation put on it, I mean, is he backing out because he can't do it in 2 years, or are the restrictions too heavy for him? But he had planned to build a house on it. I don't think he would just buy a 50 by 100 lot, just buy it. That's kind of my thought. So,
now that makes sense. I mean, I thought he was hitting the mark, and he didn't make the mark, so that's why he wanted to sell it back.
I don't know.
Because we can give him some leniency and time.
But what was his reason?
He did indicate that he was not aware of the time restrictions, but and that was the only thing that he indicated to me, that he didn't realize because of he is transitioning to the area, and he indicated there will probably be some concerns that he had to be able to meet those time restrictions. And at that time, I also indicated to him that it would be also something that the board would be able to consider for the extensions.
Okay. And time restrictions, I can see waiting for a while just to see if he still want to proceed with it. But I'm still leaning towards, personally, just get the property back and let's move forward with someone else that might want to develop. And like I said, all development in the redevelopment area is just not about houses. It's about improving areas. Getting it clean, improving the parking lot for a church, those kind of things. Green space, that's just my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Yeah. Anyone else?
Please, someone else.
Why don't you have him to come back?
Huh?
Don't you have him to come back, that you know his specific intent, and then move forward?
But we can table it for whatever, how many months you want to do it.
Next meeting, let him come back and know his specific intent, and then you can open it up and move from there.
Okay.
You certainly can do that. You can table it, and you can request for him to come before you again. We can't require him, and I don't know if it would be a hardship since he's at a distance to be here for the next meeting.
Let's give him two meetings, Reggie. 2 months.
Whatever
2
you
months.
think.
Let's do 2 months.
I believe he lives in Miami.
That gives them 2 months to get in contact with him and see if he can be here. Okay. The board agrees with that. Okay, sure.
So you need to entertain a motion.
Huh?
We need a motion.
Okay, we need a motion that we table this for our second meeting, the first meeting in May.
So your May regular meeting.
May regular meeting.
I move that we table this issue for 2 meetings.
I second that motion.
Motion been made that we table this item for our meeting in May. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Motion passed. Okay. And like I said, we probably covered, and the city attorney covered the items that would come up here where we're looking at some changes. Because as you know, every piece of property is different. Some things won't work, some things, yeah. And so we're gonna have to adjust to make sure that that people that want to buy, we can accommodate them. But we still gotta have some restrictions. You just can't go by and just, go off the pedal with it, okay? Mr. Dub, you have anything to add to yours? I know you did a beautiful presentation, and all of us have that. And I will let you know that, like we said before, the marketing piece and anything else in the other committees, we put it all that in the package. So when we get the new executive director,
And that's what I'm waiting on.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Can I just ask a question on what's on the screen? It had to do with our group,
Yeah,
but
okay.
so those purchasing conditions that we saw in February, I don't think we officially adopted them or anything. So is that still on the table? Because that's what's going to help clean this stuff up going forward
Yes.
and make our process better. So
Yes.
where are we with those?
Our office is in the final phases of finalizing a document that we think will address the various different types of properties that you might see.
Yeah.
We're also working with city staff to be able to create a visual for you all so you can see the inventory that you have that might be buildable, so that you can look at those lots, compare them to the restrictions that we propose, and then if you want to make any tweaks, you have all the information that you might need in order to do so.
Okay, and I'm actually, sorry, I wasn't clear. I'm actually talking about it's public on the website, our, condition, the process for
Yes.
purchasing property, where that's where we got messed up, that people can put in an offer and say none, say no conditions, that the clerk really shouldn't accept it that way, those procedures.
Yes.
I think that was the 11th, but I
So
could have
you all
it.
looking at it also, right?
Yep, so I know Marvin has been working on that, and we're getting all of that kind of buttoned up so that everybody knows very clearly what the process is, and no matter what lot they choose, they know what the rules are going to be.
Okay.
Okay, so those are still floating out there as well for us to
Yep,
Wait on
that
them
should
to
be
finish
coming
up.
to you at your next regular meeting.
next, okay.
Okay. All right. Now, let me tell you
Oh,
something.
there it goes.
Yeah, this is, like I said, a lot of things are happening now that we never had to deal with. And so, this is a time where you just stop, reevaluate, adjust some things, and come to some other way to approach. So I'm just glad we got city's attorneys that's working on it for us.
And Commissioner Proctor, the offer to purchase paperwork has been altered and changed for the city clerk, so she has new forms. As a matter of fact, the three or four properties that are currently pending, which are going through the upset bid right now, they came back in and signed the new contracts indicating that those conditions were present.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Okay, good deal. All right. All right. Staff report.
Could we go back just a moment to the markings?
go ahead.
I believe at one meeting you all indicated we had a short discussion on signage.
Yeah.
Because on the city-owned properties, there are
That's Mr. Doug. You had on that there, right? Mark. Sign. Okay.
Mark
Yeah.
and signage.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I just wanted to, I was wondering about the CDBG funds. And I was asking because I didn't know. And I just wanted to know, is that something that we could look into to try to utilize on some of these properties that help our committee move things forward as far as development, basically. I didn't know if we had the ability to access those funds. And that's what my question was. And I wanted us to discuss it and get to a resolution on that.
And again, the agenda package was sent out today, so I know
Right.
you all probably didn't have an opportunity to see the handout that was in there for the eligible and ineligible activities for the HUD or the CDBG funds, and those are the activities that are available, but there is several loan processes usually to utilize those funds, but I would recommend, if you all were so inclined to do so, to review those, and if anything in there is brought up that you all want to pursue with that, we can obviously, staff, we can obviously pursue for those particular items if you all are so inclined to proceed and to give us direction to proceed with any of those.
Okay.
So Marvin is there, and I did not have time to look at these, but just reviewing them, they seem great. You can acquire property, but we had the horrific experience of taking almost 2 years to be able to sell 911 Eubanks, because when you use CDBG funds, they come, so there's like 3 pages of activities you can do. There's 73,000 pages of stipulations that you have to abide by in order to sell that property. So we actually had to put a 20-year lien on the property for the difference between what CDBG gave us for it and what the person paid for it. Because right now it costs more to build houses in anywhere than you can necessarily get from them. So we ended up taking a purchase offer that was lower, and we were like, that's the purpose of CDBG funds. Let's do it. That's great. And then so they have to have this 20-year lien, and it took literal years. Like, I think Jamie worked on that. I mean, looking at having calls, and I was on several calls. Jabari was on several calls. Deja was on several calls with our CDBG rep, trying to figure out how we could, you gave us the money, you said, great, you can acquire and fix that property, but now you don't want to let us let it go. So it was extremely difficult.
And that's what I was wondering. Since I wasn't there then, I was just wondering, could we take some of these older houses that need to be repaired and put them on the market, not just have empty lots, sell actual homes? But
and I do think there's a program for that. I know Zeb was looking into the $5,000 City of New Bern thing. I know he was looking into grant. There are funds available for that, but we have just found it really difficult to
utilize it.
Because of the stipulation. So maybe that's changing. I don't know.
A little red tape.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That helps you out, Commissioner?
Oh, yeah.
I think we should look into it, but I just don't know who. Is that still Deja's area, and we'd have to go through her and figure out the restrictions, and I think we have a consultant too that we talk to.
And I think with us hopefully having a executive director real soon, and I think pretty knowledgeable of a lot of this stuff, I think that will give us some headway. Because some things, we as a board, we just let the executive director know what we like, and they go with it, and they do the work for us. Okay. Anything else, Commissioner? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Staff report.
With the again, you all would have gotten a copy of the budget, which didn't change from the last one that you all had last month. This budget, the only thing that came out of that was the cost for the meal that we had at the retreat. But one thing during the course of doing the budget for the city, we reviewed the budget for the RDC and noticed that there was a lot of funds that were placed into particular items. For instance, under other professional services, which includes the funds that are associated with maintaining the property and the lots that you all have over there. I think there's $10,000 in that for that. And the rest of the money was spent on advertising, and a lot of the advertising was for the homes that were eventually sold over on Walt Bellamy.
Okay.
So those are fees that's the only thing you all utilize for, and you have $26,000 in that account. The thought is, if you all want to give us direction with this, you may want to decide to reduce that down, because you're not going to need that kind of money going forward. From the 26,000, you may want to consider something more in line with maybe 15,000, which will give you $5,000 over what you would be paying for maintaining the lots, because we're not currently looking to advertise for that type of advertisement for selling homes. Same thing with utilities. You have $4,500 in that line item. That was because you were paying for the utilities for those homes prior to selling them, and so currently you don't have any property that you utilize utilities for. So that's a line item you probably will not need going forward in the immediate future. And the food and provisions, $2,200, which $1,200, which was pretty consistently used. I think that should probably remain the same. Same with other supplies and materials. In the event that we hire a new executive director, they're going to need to get supplies to get started as soon as they come into office. And you had $200,000 in land and structures, which obviously didn't use any of those funds this past year. Maybe something more reasonable like $50,000 in the event you want to purchase property or something like that, give directions for something like that. That may be a more advisable amount for something like that. And if for some reason during the next fiscal year you need more money, you can always do a budget amendment to bring more money into those funds.
Okay. All right.
So where would you suggest, like, where would we move it to if we moved it out of some of those buckets, just like a general?
Put it back in the general.
That's correct. You all have a line item under with the city that is just a general fund for the Redevelopment Commission. But these are the more accessible ones at the time of accepting the budget, which is what we're doing currently now with the city's budget. Mm-hmm. And we put that amount that I just mentioned into your line items, and the rest of it will be in your reserve if needed. Do a budget amendment later on.
So, Mark, just make sure I'm clear on that. You're saying that we're not adjusting or reducing any kind of funds coming into the Redevelopment Commission from the city. You're just putting it on a different line.
That's correct. The money that you have will still be in accessible for you all, but it just wouldn't be sitting in your fiscal year line items right now because it's just sitting there not being utilized.
Anyone else? Okay. So, are you going to present us with the new line items, or you want? Should we just advise you to
what I just mentioned? If you all will agree to it, or if you think that there should be more or less, I would recommend under other professional services, $15,000 instead of the $26,000. I would recommend zeroing out the utilities for now.
Yes.
I would also recommend the food and provisions remain the same at $1,200. The others, supplies and materials remain at $2,200, and the land and structures instead of $200,000, $50,000.
So we need a motion to allow you to move those?
Yes.
Okay. You heard recommendations. Do we have a motion to accept the city manager's recommendation on line items being changed and moved into general funds?
I move that he be able to make those moves and move those items from out of the lineup into the
General fund. Okay. Is there a second?
general fund.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, it's been moved and probably second that the city manager will move the line items that that we're going to reduce into the general fund. All in favor say aye. I'm sorry, I got a question.
Yeah, I think I would just like to understand more and like talk more like Victor's committee about, like, I think you guys want to do some advertising, which we've never really done. I just feel like it's something we should talk about more before we just say, okay, like, those sound great.
Well,
I just didn't know
at the
that
last meeting, we said we had money already set aside for publications, right?
Well, this is the full budget that we're looking at, right?
It's in that,
That's
like
in
it would be in that.
But that's he reduced, but he's not reducing that one, correct?
That, I think it's that one. Yeah, he wants 15 for that.
So you're taking the publication from 25 out of 15?
Other professional services.
That was
that's
from
where- yeah.
26,000 to 15,000. Last time, that's where you all had your advertising funds were, and again, the only $10,000 of it, up to $10,000 was being utilized for public works service in the lots. And so you would still be looking at over $5,000 available for advertising.
But I remember, if for some reason the new ED thinks that he can do it for $5, fine. If not, go back to the budget amendment.
That's why I was kind of okay, because currently speaking today, until we actually get an actual marketing program together, knowing what's needed, I wouldn't know what to ask to put in there. And I feel like Rome wasn't built in a day. We got meetings every second Wednesday of the month. We can come back to it. Marvin, he said that we can move it later.
Right, yeah, we can be moved later, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like I said, and plus, this is, once again, this is something new we never done before.
Right.
And if it goes good, we're gonna put some more money in it. But this gives us a start. It gives us a start. Okay. You okay now? You comfortable with 20?
I mean, I just still, I guess I don't fully understand like the effect of moving it, so I wouldn't be in favor of it, but that go on with the vote.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Well, I was going to
Oh,
ask
Steve, you had a
real
question?
quick.
Sorry.
Process for requesting an adjustment, that's us officially approving it, then it going back to Board of Aldermen for them to approve, for us to move it from our general fund over to this particular line item, right?
That's correct.
So that's your downside, is you're going to have a month's worth of kicking it down the road if you decide you want to change anything.
But as a board, if something was sitting in other professional services, would it take us one meeting for us to vote to move it to another line item?
And then Board of Aldermen.
And then Board of Aldermen. Well, that's a good point you made, but what do you think is the resolution to it?
Me, as I sit here, I say we had an executive director in place that had a thoughtful plan and arrived at a budget. I know we didn't meet that, but in my mind, the best thing we've got is the last recommendation of the person that was sitting in that chair doing the job.
That makes sense too.
So, all right, so
So it sounds like he's saying, let's let it sit. If
well,
it's our money,
there's a motion table, we got to either vote against the motion and start over. So all in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that motion died. Now, back to what Strick said and what you're saying.
I mean, I like a board where we discuss like this before we get to a vote.
Yeah.
Because when Strickland said that, that makes a lot of sense. And it makes a whole, it's more clear. Let it sit there. We had, like you said, somebody that sits in that job that created it. I don't want to be the one to challenge what was already put there, because I'm not an executive director.
Right.
To say what we need. It's only my third meeting, so I don't know what we're going to need next year or this upcoming year versus last year.
And what are just so I understand, can we freely use funds out of our general fund, or do we have to get Board of Aldermen approval to use those funds?
You have to get a budget adjustment to get the funds, and if you wanted to move it into the line items that you all currently have.
No, I mean to spend it. So let's say we do put more stuff in our general fund and it gets bigger to spend. So let's say we did want to then do advertising. Can we use general funds to do advertising, or no? It has to be approved by the board and put in a different bucket.
It would, if these line items that you have on the budget is where you would have to pull. You have to tell us, hey, pull it from this particular line item. The board of Aldermen would not tell you how to use those particular line items. That's going to be up to you all. But you have to have the funds in there. Say if you want to say, I'm going to do some advertisement and I'm going to use the other professional services for that. You all are welcome to do that. The Board of Aldermen, you don't have to go to them and say, hey, we want to use money from this particular item, because that would be your decision.
Is that the same for the general fund?
If you don't have it in this fund, you have to ask the Board of Aldermen to do a budget adjustment to get more funds into those particular items.
In our general fund, so the 900 in our general fund, if we want to spend that, do we have to have Board of Aldermen approval?
That is your balance. That amount just has to be, the budget adjustment has to pull any time that money that's in there is currently, you all are designated for those different areas.
Okay.
So, and your total amount is the amount that you see there, but if you wanted to spend all of it, you can put it all, whatever, you can ask for a budget adjustment to put all your money down into land and structures if you were gonna buy that, and that would zero out your general fund with a budget adjustment, and then you could spend it all out of that line.
So they would, so the fund balance unassigned of basically 850, to spend that, we need to go to the Board of Aldermen. So
Correct.
that's what I'm asking. So I don't know why we would grow that, because right now if it's in a bucket, then can't we, so we can just go do advertising. I don't know why we would not keep the buckets. I mean, obviously within reason, they're not going to approve the budget if we say we want all 849 for advertising, they're going to say no, which makes sense. But I think we keep the buckets where they are and where they make
With
sense.
no changes?
I mean, we're still obviously talking about it, but I'm just to Steve's point, and so anything in that 850 that we use, we have to get Board of Aldermen approval. So, but if it's in a sub bucket, it sounds like we do not. They're not going to approve every time we redo our insurance. They're not going to approve every time we spend $600 on advertising.
Because it's already on line item.
Because it's on a line item, right?
Wait a minute. If we got $800,000 in our budget, we have to get the city council to approve us to use some of that money
It's not in our budget, it's in our fund.
in our funds. So it's the funds and then the budget. It's a fund. Okay, all right.
The fund operates like a savings account.
Huh?
The fund operates like a savings account. If you want to dip into the savings account because you haven't otherwise allocated those funds, you have to go to the governing board.
Okay,
If that
all right,
makes sense.
okay, all right, I got you, okay. All right. So, to Assistant City Manager, I think the board suggests we leave everything as is. Okay? Is that sense of the board? Leave the budget as it is? Okay? All right, so you don't need a
entertain a
motion?
motion?
Huh?
Mr. Chair, you want to entertain a motion to that effect, Mr. Chair, just so we have action?
Okay. All right. Is there a
Wow.
motion?
Yeah, you got it straight.
I was going to say, I'll make a motion that we maintain our prior fiscal year budget request for the upcoming fiscal year.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second that the budget remain the same based on the previous year. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
The next item is myself and the chair had a meeting with the Housing Authority and Habitat over a opportunity that they want us to consider partnering with them. There was nothing of actionable. They were just basically letting us know that there's an available grant that they could pursue. And with that particular grant that they could pursue, they were saying if they were successful in getting that or had a good opportunity of getting that grant, then they would bring it back to us so that we could actually give a briefing to you all. But there was nothing of real value that there was no decisions or anything made. It was basically like, hey, before we go into this, would you all be open to entertaining a partnership if we are able to get it was a new market tax credit, but there's no guarantees that they're going to get it. But that's what the meeting was about. So,
And it was quite interesting because this is new for Habitat, especially especially here in New Bern. But it's supposed to be getting all this money, and if Habitat can request it and they think this is a good place to invest their money, and with us being in partnership, it would be. I mean, this would really be a plus for the city. I'll put it like that, a plus for the city and for the residents that need some housing. Because Habitat is already doing housing, so our partnership is going to be probably them buying some property from us and going from there. But at the same time, we don't know all the details, so that's why we're not just. It's going to work. It's going to work. So we got to wait for Habitat to get back with us. Am I correct, Palmer? Waiting for Habitat to get back with us.
that's correct, Chair.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, do they have any kind of a timeline of when they'll have a thumbs up or a thumb down on that, or?
We actually just
sit
waiting on the executive director for Habitat to give us a call. I don't know, because I don't know how she go about getting that information, or who she has to call or whatever it is.
Okay.
But they were looking at $50 million. The Habitat might be, $50 million won't come to us, but it's a $50 million pocket that they might get. So, well,
Just thinking about our processes and timelines on things. So
Yeah.
it takes a while to get anything
it takes a
done.
while,
so.
yeah. It takes a while to get free money, Yeah. All right, thank you.
The next item, the Redevelopment Commission Executive Director position, we initially had about 30 applicants, I want to say, and then that was narrowed down after initial screening to about 9 to 10, and recently we ended up narrowing that down to 3 in-person interviews that occurred. We had 2 different groups. One group did an exercise that the applicants they were actually presented with 2 to 4 pieces of property that all adjoined, and they were a combination of city and county owned lots that adjoin up to a redevelopment commission lot to see what kind of ideas they could present to the board that we had there, the sample redevelopment commission board that we were utilizing, and giving their idea of what they could do with the resources that they were familiar with. The 3 applicants did that for that one group, and then after that, or the board, it depended on what order they went in, they would go down and have a series of about 12 questions that they were interview questions that they did with another group. And since that process, the city manager was in on the exercise portion, but has not had the opportunity to review the interviews yet. And once he reviews the interviews, we will convene and have a discussion, and hopefully he'll be able to make a decision from that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Our next meeting will be April the 8th, 2026. That's your spring break, I'm sorry. Okay. We don't have anything for closed session tonight, correct?
Not tonight, sir.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.